C.I. Scofield and the long arm of the Jesuits. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is the Gospel Truth, and we're bringing you the lowdown on C.I. Scofield, another expose into the dark world of evangelical Christian eschatology, coming to you in the spirit of the Christian whistleblower. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is the Gospel Truth. And yes, Chris Monet is the first. And I want to talk to you tonight, I guess it's this morning, about C.I. Scofield, scoundrel, shyster, and scalawag. When's the last time you got to say the word scalawag? I love that word. Let's take a look at what we're talking about. And this is about C.I. Scofield. If you don't know who C.I. Scofield is, and of course I'm coming to you from heresyintheheartland.blogspot.com. heresyintheheartland.blogspot.com. Yes, it is 3 a.m, but I could either try to sleep on this or I could get it out there. And I wasn't going to put it out because of something I'll tell you about, but I felt that we needed to do it anyway. So this colorful rogue, this scoundrel, this shyster, this scalawag is best known today as the editor of a best-selling reference Bible, the Scofield Reference Bible. But when his name appeared in newspapers across the nation, when he presided over Dwight Moody's funeral in 1899, some Kansas communities took the news as insult added to injury. Why? Because they remembered how C.I. Scofield, then a lawyer and corrupt government official, had skipped town, left creditors in the lurch, and when news got around they'd become a minister of the gospel, some of these folks in Kansas pressed him for restitution. According to an article in the Kansas City Journal, Parson Scofield declared that he is poor and unable to pay. Kansas folks said that he was a scalawag, abandoned his family. More on that. He also offered his newly published biography, The Incredible Scofield, in his book to the Atchison Public Library. The library declined his offer. We don't need his biography. We remember what kind of a rascal, rat bastard that he was. Just checking my sound there. Thank you. So here's a guy that his name was C.I. Scofield, Cyrus Ingersoll. He joined the Confederate Army. He deserted. So he was a traitor. And then things really get interesting. He fell into he fell into a French Creole family, a Catholic family. Married a lady named Helene Labousseret, who was a Catholic, a very prominent Catholic family, according to Wikipedia. And how do you marry into a very prominent Catholic family? You become Catholic. Who started eschatology? The Catholic Jesuits. Who's the father of modern eschatology? C.I. Scofield, who was married into a prominent Catholic family. But wait, there's more. He goes to Kansas in the family money, becomes a lawyer, gets elected to the Kansas House of Representatives, lies about having been in the Confederate Army, and then 6 months into his job as the U.S. District Attorney for Kansas, lied to get the job, gets involved in blackmail, bribery, embezzlement, forges someone's name to get money for himself, leaves his family, becomes a heavy drinker, and was nothing more than a rogue and a scoundrel. Until all of a sudden, trying to gain legal separation, 6 years worth of it, goes to jail in Wisconsin. And then in 1879, praise the Lord, he decides to become a Christian, and the case against Scofield is mysteriously dismissed. Ex-wife finds some money and pays off debts. Now, think about what you just read. Marries into a prominent Catholic family. Gets a job as a U.S. district attorney. Elected to the House of Representatives in the state of Kansas. Gets busted for bribery, extortion, forgery. Becomes a heavy drinker, goes to jail. And then all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, the charges get dropped, and his ex-wife gets a bunch of money to pay off her debts. And Scofield goes to work as a preacher and writes his Scofield Reference Bible, which brings the Jesuit eschatology into every single Protestant Bible Institute in the United States of America. There's two possibilities. Number one, Scofield was just a closet Catholic with Jesuit sympathies, and he wrote the Jesuit doctrine into his new Bible after a conversion. Or Scofield was a closet Catholic, married into a Catholic family that had Jesuit leanings, and Scofield was so compromised that the Jesuits walked into him and said, "Hey, we got a little piece of business for you to do for us." And the Jesuits gave his ex-wife some money, got him out of trouble, and all he had to do was write Jesuit doctrine into his new study Bible so that it could become the de facto default doctrine of Protestant Christianity. This is why you watch. This is why you support. This is why you like. This is why you sponsor. This is why you're here, because no one else does this for you. His religious conversion's unclear. First, his charges get dismissed. Second, his ex comes into a bunch of money. Then he's got a sketchy conversion. And then he winds up with D.L. Moody. His preacher friends drilled Scofield in the latest Protestant Bible interpretations, those of John Nelson Darby, where Margaret MacDonald, moving in the power and spirit of Saint Teresa of Avila, put this rapture in his head, put this tribulation in his head. And all of a sudden, Scofield, delivered from jail, coming into a lot of money, sketchy conversion. Now, all of a sudden, he's a zealous advocate of these newfound and unconventional truths. Intrigue still swirls around him, but he runs to Texas, becomes affiliated with Moody, becomes a Bible teacher, sponsors his Scofield Reference Bible, and the rest is history. His futurism and eschatology, which came straight from the Jesuit playbook, dispensationalism, gets written into every curriculum of every Protestant Bible Institute in the United States. And the Jesuit psyop is complete. What started with Francisco Ribera, Saint Teresa of Avila, as agents of the Counter-Reformation, what was continued by Ribera's his buddy that came after him, I can't remember the name, we said it this afternoon, lays dormant for a while, comes back in the Plymouth movement and Derby movement with Margaret MacDonald. Was she St. Teresa of Avila? Was St. Teresa of Avila a walk-in on Margaret MacDonald? I don't know. But she moved in the spirit and power of Teresa. And all of a sudden, this guy who's severely compromised, married into a Catholic family, a Catholic, all of a sudden gets a bunch of money, gets let out of jail, writes the C.I. Scofield Reference Bible, which becomes a de facto textbook for all of the American Bible institutes. And we have Jesuit doctrine fought against by the Reformation, Jesuit doctrine birthed in the Counter-Reformation, which becomes the de facto belief of the idiot Protestants of our day, the idiotic, eschatological imbeciles of evangelical Christianity, preaching Jesuit doctrine, singing Jesuit songs. They might as well wear dresses and little skull caps like the Jesuits do, because they're preaching Jesuit doctrine. Marzulli, Clarke, Quayle, John B. Wells. They're just a bunch of Jesuits. And now you know why and how and where. Now you can follow the trail, follow the money, connect the dots. Booyah. There you go. There you have it. That's the gospel truth about the idiotic, eschatological imbeciles and the September 23 Revelation 12 sign. And like Bill Engvall said, here's your sign, dummy. Stupid is as stupid does. If you still want to believe it, I can't fix stupid. I can bring you to water. I can't make you drink. I can bring you to the gospel truth. I can't make you think. You can't fix stupid, and I've done all I can. That's the gospel truth about C.I. Scofield and the long arm of the Jesuits. It's the most effective espionage program in the history of espionage programs. And little Scotty Clarke and little L.A. Marzulli are destroying any integrity they had left by preaching this foolishness to you. And on September 24th, I'll be the man left standing. And don't think it ends on the 24th, because they'll just make something else up. We didn't say it was the rapture. We just said it looked like everything was set up for the rapture. And they'll find another thing to lie to you about. They'll find another thing to sell to you. They'll find another reason for you to keep listening to them. And if you do, it's your own damn fault. You've been warned. You've been informed. You've been led to water. You've been led to the gospel truth. Drink, think, stink. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's 3 a.m. I don't think there's any crazy people in the chat room, but let's just make sure. Let's just make sure. Let's just make sure. Take me just a quick second to get to it. Let's see. What do you know? You folks are crazy. That's all I have to say. I thought I was crazy, but you folks are crazy. in the house, watching the ad. Hello, everyone. Ears and eyes are open. Marston Brooks in the house. I'm awake because of chocolate-covered coffee beans. Could be a long night. Some things never change. I'm a bit wired, Tamu. I was so excited when Jeff went live at this insane hour. I'm so glad that I can excite some woman at 3 a.m. Nice blue polo, says Tamu and Gina. Thank you. Thank you very much. He looks amazing in blue. I thank you very much. The occult control of the local community, policing authority, and judicial system in every town USA. Yep. Jeff talking mob guy. Oh, Lord. I took a job aptitude test, said I should be a swashbuckler. That's a pirate. I think that's not really a job. That's a thief. While running errands today, Moss and Brooks encountered two women fighting in the parking lot of the grocery store. Unfortunately, one of them got their weave harpazoned before anyone could get between them. I'm not sure what that means. When anything asks sex, I write occasionally. What? Now that's funny. Sex, is that still a thing? Was Saint Teresa of Avila a phony? Asked Tamu and Gina. No, she wasn't a phony. She was the original Catholic glossolalia, the original Catholic mystic. She was a practitioner of ecstatic religiosity. She was probably the original Pentecostal. She coined the term rapture, and she was one of the leaders of the Counter-Reformation. The guy you confess to, her confessor was Francisco Ribera, who wrote the book that introduced futurism, and she was handpicked by Loyola himself. So, no, she wasn't a phony. She was the real deal. She was a real, true Jesuit agent. The only reason she wasn't a Jesuit is because they wouldn't let chicks be a Jesuit. Have you ever heard of the Channeled Bible? No. That's interesting. Let me write that down. Where's my notepads? That feels weird. I'm afraid to pull that out. Oh, it's a notepad. The Channeled Bible. Let me write that down. I don't like the sound of it. But I'll look into it. Okay. Who's SSO? That's got to be fairly heavy duty. I'm not sure what that is. Refuse to read it, but someone who refers to it as his book. Is Christ okay with sex outside of marriage? Because I'm never doing that again. I don't think that Christ is too worried about what you do with your genitals as long as you don't do anything with them that bothers somebody else. That's just my opinion. The most deadly virus from the entire world is Christianity. Absolutely. Wasn't Robert De Niro a Jesuit priest in a movie? I'm sure. I don't know where Rocker Chick is. I have to schedule an appointment with her. How much do you know about the occult? I know plenty about the occult. How much you know about the occult? Where's Doc Illusion? It is 3 a.m., guys. It is 3 a.m. Just keep that in mind. And I lost my space. There it is. Place. You can do good things with occult teachings. Occult just means hidden. It's a crazy world. In this world, the only good thing is to be called crazy. Only midnight on the West Coast. They're running the show, so you better know your enemy. Speaking of the Jesuits, I'm awake because of the damn storm. September 1st begins the year of the rooster. Okay. Dan Bell, I don't know who Dan Bell is, but I'm glad I won. I've been accused of being crazy. Like the great American philosopher Waylon Jennings said, I've always been crazy, but it's kept me from going insane. I need to watch again Jeff's background noise for the chat. Her weave was snatched away. Oh, Harpazo. I get it, Mawson. I get it. Oh, that's a callback to our earlier one, Harpazo of Scott Clarke and L.A. Marzulli. Nice. snatched her weave right off her head. Oh, that's ugly because whoo, man, that's ugly. Wow. The Scofield Bible is the Scofield Bible Jesuit? Well, let's think about it. The Scofield Bible is the thing that put all of the Jesuit doctrine into American evangelical Christianity. That's great, Marsden Brooks. It's written by a Catholic dude who was compromised. I think the Jesuits twisted his arm, gave him some money. So yeah, the Scofield Bible, one way or the other, it is Jesuit. I think it's Jesuit because Scofield had to do a little piece of business for him. And he got paid and he got famous and he was a scalawag and that's what he wants. Jeff, I wrote the title of that Bible there, Will Help Find Better. Really, that could be the true sunshine. Most oracles in ancient times were drugged when seeing visions or talking to the gods. The movie with De Niro was The Mission, where he played a Jesuit priest. Oh, yeah. I remember that. Well, Bobby De Niro, he's very Italian. He's very Catholic. So I don't know if he's Jesuit or not, but I wouldn't put it past him. And I'll spare you the 3:30 a.m. De Niro impression. Wait a second. The Jesuits paid. Usually they blackmail or guilt someone into it. Well, they did blackmail him. They did guilt him, but they also paid him. And then you notice it was the Catholic family that got the money. Has Marzulli responded yet? Nope, not yet. I don't know where the divining rods are. Tamu says, give us the De Niro impression. Oh, goodness gracious. So there you go. The long arm of the Jesuits and C.I. Scofield. Added up, Jesuit doctrines in the Scofield Bible. I think they leaned on him, had him put it in there. The biggest lie of Hebrews is because they were slaves in Egypt. They were slaves in Ethiopia. That's why they didn't mention the pyramids in the Bible. Well, there's something out of left field. That's interesting. The O's, yeah, okay. We're all family here. So, I know that you're probably getting tired of hearing about, there's Rocky Stucci. Speaking of doing a piece of business, doing a little work for somebody. Rocky Stucci, I do sleep. I sleep about 5 hours a day, brother. We're going to have Rocky Stucci on the program. That's an interesting fellow. He's going to come on the channel hopefully next week. Rocky, you tell me the best day and time for you, and we'll have you come on. Rocky's one of my good brothers. Haven't seen him in a long time, but very, very interesting story to tell. Very, very motivational story. And if you're not listening to the Rocky Stucci show, you should be listening to the Rocky Stucci show. Look him up here on YouTube, Rocky Stucci. While you're at it, you can look up Heidi Vandenberg, Tamu and Gina's making some programs. I'll have a new program tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That's in about 6 hours with R. Wayne Steiger. Not your regular Sunday morning show. And I may be dragged kicking and screaming back into the world of radio. Rocky Stucci is a cool name for a very cool dude. Rocky is one of the good guys, no doubt about it. One of the best brothers out there. So, folks, that's it. C.I. Scofield and the long arm of the Jesuits. L.A. Marzulli, Scott Clarke, preaching Jesuit doctrine. They have to know it. The question is, why are they doing it? And why am I the only guy with the testicular fortitude to call them out on it? That's the sad thing. What did that say? I have a friend who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, told her about Jeff. She said you'd been a lot of help. Who else would you prefer? Tamu, Heidi. I don't know what the question is. Tamu is good. Heidi's good. Wayne Steiger's excellent. If you have any interest in politics, Rocky Stucci's the best. He has my my other good brother, a lot of times Scotty Roberts, on with him. Those are the best people that I know of on YouTube. Rex Bear Leak Project, also very good stuff. I don't want to teach you how to live, but I tell you something very true. You should go to sleep at 2200 to have more DMT in the pineal gland, because at that time DMT is spreading into your brain. Brother, I'm DMT'd all day long. Just take it as friendly advice. Will do. Give Denny Hunt a call on that Channeled Bible. Denny Hunt, is he the Why Is This True guy? He's also good. So there you go. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This has been the gospel truth about C.I. Scofield and the long arm of the Jesuits. If you're here, you're a person that respects truth. You're a person that is seeking truth. And as such, I salute you. Rocky's channel, it's ROCCI STUCCI. ROCCI STUCCI. Rocky Stucci. Just search YouTube. You'll find it. I'm probably done for the day. I need to get a little bit of sleep before Wayne and I get together for Not Your Normal Sunday morning show coming up at 9 a.m. Eastern this morning. That's about 5.5 hours from now. And I'll keep you updated about my potential return to radio, terrestrial radio, and internet radio. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This has been the gospel truth about C.I. Scofield and the long arm of the Jesuits. Until next time, remember, you don't have original sin. You've got the spark of divinity within. So be excellent to yourself. Be excellent to your neighbor. And that way, we can all be excellent to each other. Until next time, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, encouraging you to unindoctrinate yourself.